The talk show host looks at me and goes, Anna, you have the smartphone under control, but also with you, one may say there was a time where you also indulged in a certain digital addiction. Oh, an addiction. Anna, come on. But to what? Was it gambling, social media, information overload, cybersex, shopping, online horse racing, or online eagle's nest bird watching until the small ones leaves the nest? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode where I, Anna Yelan, the time expert, will tell you how I handle my smartphone and of course with the perspective of time. And I will also talk about casinos, pornography and betting on horses. Yeah, but actually, that's one of the next episodes.
Bye.
So back to our topic, smartphone, curse or blessing. I will tell you what I did to use it less and give you some ideas which you hopefully could use for yourself. But to be clear, I am not a psychologist or coach who treats people with digital addictions. So this is rather a personal story about how I am handling it. So, am I against the digital revolution? No, of course not. Otherwise, maybe exactly you wouldn't be listening to my podcast right now. Thanks to technology, I can share my work all over the world. I mean, that's like, wow, isn't it? Am I against smartphones? No, it simplifies life in many ways. The only thing that I'm asking myself here is, am I using it to my advantage or am I wasting time? Now you will ask me, but when do I know when it is a waste of time or an advantage? I think deep inside of yourself, you will always feel the answer. You know. But with this episode, I hope you will be a bit clearer about this question. Now let's start. I'm so happy. Writing this episode, I realized the hard part in this topic. We are struggling with the handling and how to use our smartphones. And in most of the minds, it's still, is it that bad or is it good or not? Is it bad or not? Well, we are very unsure. Neuroscientists, they say, yes, it's very bad for our brain. Silicon Valley doesn't care. There is so much money involved as well. So it's all still very new to us. I mean, just imagine the first iPhone, the first smartphone, like the smartphones as we know them, came out in 2007. It's not that long ago. And I mean, there are people like my team, their workplace is the digital world that didn't exist before, and they earn money with it. That's the difference. There are people, they earn money with it. There are people, they're wasting time with it. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's still very hard to see the differences. And now let's take the example of my team. It's their workplace. It's like, for them, it's like going to an office. But in our team, I am the only one who shouldn't be spending too much time in the digital world because I have to create content. Create and not consume. And I think, again, it's about the balance, isn't it? It's about the right dose. But how do we know? We know if we drink a bottle of alcohol every day, we have a problem. We are addicts. We have been given restrictions and limitations, but we don't have this yet with the digital thingies. That's the thing. So the question is, When are we addict or addicted to our phones? Do you know? Are you addict to your smartphone? Have you ever tracked yourself how many times you unlock your screen? For sure, yes. And even if yes, and let's say it is a lot, does it change your behavior? And the other question is, what are we doing in there? Is it work? Is it useless stuff? Is it consume? Is it share? Is it create? What do we do? Yeah, there is a road to go. Let's start walking it straight away. No reason to wait. So here, the time expert comes through, and that is what I have to say. It's the time, like right now, to think about it. Everyone, individually, everyone needs to know how he or she or you wants to use it. We need to know. Don't allow yourself to be a puppet on a string with this. You have to control it. And I'm pretty sure right now it's all about self-control before maybe restrictions and limitations will be made one day. It's time to know, and it's time to decide how you want to use it. Be very clear with it. Very clear. And by the way, did you know that sea eagle puppies, which are called hatchlings, stay about 75 days in the nest? That's like 2.5 months. It's a long time. But that's another story, isn't it? Let me tell you a short story about a teenage boy I knew, and he was a smartphone addict. The plan was to shut off the smartphone on Sundays. We called it the mobile-free Sunday, and to mention that it was the boy who had the idea because he somehow suffered from being on the phone the whole time, and he was just really curious to see how it is without a phone. So it took him about 3 weeks to be psychologically ready, but then he was. Sunday number 1 arrived. He was amazed by how many times he felt his hand moving to the pocket where usually his phone was. And he was angry, in a real bad mood, and completely bored. Wanted to stop this shitty experiment, but luckily he didn't. He watched a movie with his family this evening, still in a very bad mood. Sunday number 2. He knew what was awaiting him, so it was a bit better, but he was still very bored and in a bad mood. Sunday number 3 was the Sunday it started to turn. He told me that he has never ever been sitting as long as he did at the table brunching with his family. In the afternoon, he went to the garden to play with his little brother, and he told me that he now gets to know his little brother. Imagine. Sunday number 4, he started to like it, to hang around. He read an old comic book, he sat in the kitchen, talked to his parents, and again played with his little brother. And he wondered what he could plan for the next Sunday. He started to love this day. And I remember him telling me that he was thinking about having more days like this because he saw and he felt the difference. It was his day off. It was his day not being available. And it gave him calm. And I liked the story. I like it a lot. It shows that even someone who has never ever experienced something different still had the urge to experience life without it. And even if it's just for a day or a few hours or sometimes. Have you ever done it? Do you like it? Just to be with yourself sometimes? I like the feeling. The focus is on you, your thoughts and how you feel, which is an important state and not one which should be ignored. By the way, Did you know that sea eagles often have 2 to 3 hatchlings and often just 2 of them survive? But again, what has this to do with this? Return to the topic, Anna. The human being is a complex thing, and for sure we have the risk of addiction. Even you who says, no, not me. Well, a psychologist would say, ma'am, sir, yes. Also you have the risk of an addiction. An addiction is a psychological and physical inability to stop consuming a chemical, drug, substance, or an activity. So cleaning the bathroom every single day, could that be an addiction? It can be an addictive behavior. And an addict becomes dependent on something or doing it in daily life, like every day. Are we aware of how this, the smartphone, impacts or affects our daily lives, our job, our relations, our health? I think it is going to be a problem if we forget that we have a body we have to take care of. And I once met a guy, he was a gamer, a real gamer, and he said that he likes the digital world better than the analog one. And that he regrets to have a body, because one day he will get the tit-for-tat response because he's not taking care of his physical body at all. If it has a negative impact on our health, on our social behavior, or on our moods, or on our decision-taking, it's a risky game. The risks I see in general are social alienation, waste of time, addiction. Now back to the talk show. Apropos addiction. Remember the question the host asked me? That's what she said. Anna, you have the smartphone under control. But also with you, one may say, there was a time where you also indulged in a certain digital addiction. Look, I'm a curious person. That's no excuse. And yes, I remember when I was for the first time on a porn site. And I still am utterly amazed by all the different categories there are. So many. It was like doing research. And now, no matter which domain, from curiosity, a curiosity can become a habit. A habit can become an addiction. But I didn't get there. It was rather a habit, but it was never an addiction. Pornography, come on, please. That's peanuts. What I would describe as far worse is what happened to me 4 years ago. Samuel, you maybe remember. I'm sure you do. For 2.5 months, I was watching many times a day 2 eagle bird hatchlings growing up. And it was incredible. I mean, really, it wasn't just a habit. No, it was worse. I had the urge to go back and look at them again and again. What are they doing? Are they sleeping? Are they eating? Are they still alive? It was crazy. I felt ridiculous. And I remember the day when they finally flew away and the nest was just empty. And I was so relieved. I was like, back to normal life. And when Samuel was coming home from work, he was hearing for the first half an hour my hatchling news. And of course, I showed him and also Nina again when the hatchlings were eating and sleeping. I said, look, now they're doing this. And sometimes I even recorded it with the camera and I showed them afterwards. I mean, yeah, I would say that was a bit extreme. And the funny thing is, you know what the funny thing is? I've been thinking about it. No, business wasn't working good. Business wasn't working good. I wouldn't blame the hatchlings, but my lack of the right focus, for sure. But at the time, I didn't see it as a waste of time. I was in a different situation. My focus, my interests are completely different today. And fact is, today, I can't afford doing it. And the thing is, can you? Can you afford doing it? If you are independently working, having your own business, all you have to do is to create and to sell what you are creating. That's how you pay the bills. Compared to others who have a monthly salary, well, that's a different story. They can be in there for hours, and they will not lose money, only time. But my team, for them, as I said, the digital world is their workplace. So yeah, see, again, it's so different for everyone. And again, I believe it's time for everyone to find out right away how to use it to your advantage, and for sure avoid the risk of getting an addict by self-controlling the dose. Self-control. Now, before we end this episode, let me tell you how I started to use my phone less. I sat down and really thought about it in a very pragmatic way. How many minutes or how many hours is it all right for me to be in the digital world? Like take the 24 hours. How many hours do you sleep? How many hours do you work? How many hours do you eat? How many hours do you want to do other things? How many hours or minutes is it all right to be in there for you? And I remember my answer, it was 1 hour. I remember it very clear, it was 1 hour. But at that time I was using it far more. Now, to use it less, I did this. Starting with the most practical ones. No notifications. No push-up thingies. Don't even know how they're called, but the things which pop up. Pop up? I don't know. Anyway, so no notifications. Put it out of sight. In a drawer. Sometimes I left it on loud, so I could at least hear if someone was calling me. But remember when we put it in a drawer? Use Forest, the app, or Off Time, or other apps to block it, to control it. We love forest. You grow a tree, so it's nice. Use time limitations, or like different apps. Or turn it off sometimes. Like to turn it off, it's so different when it's off. We forget that. We really forget it, how it is when we turn it off. And I needed to have these breaks from my phone also to see that I'm still the one who decides. It's me controlling it and not the other way around. I am the boss, not the thingy here. And what helped me most is to understand my general values in life. What do I like to do? And then you write down what you like to do. And if those things, those activities, those values suffers because you are spending more time on the phone, I would regret it. And the thing is, it would be silly regrets. I'm okay with regrets, that's normal, can happen, but I'm not okay with silly regrets. And if I would regret it, that one day I would say, oh dear me, I spent so much time in here. That's a silly regret. I'm going to avoid this regret. Now, I have some other decisions I took. For example, online newspapers? No. I would rather go from time to time to sit in a coffee shop and read the newspaper amongst people. Online games? No. I would rather go to the casino. Casino, baby, that's the place. That's where something happens. Will I use Instagram? Yes. At the moment, for 10 minutes a day. Will I watch pornography? Yes, sometimes. Will I sometimes again watch eagle hatchlings in their nest? Oh, that's like big words coming here. Danger, danger, danger. So remind me if I do, but at the moment, for sure, it's no, 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 no. Now, to end this episode, let's talk about time. I was invited to the talk show as Anna, the time expert. They wanted to know how I look at the topic smartphone, curse or blessing, and what my humble opinion is. Now you know, whatever I do, every single day and every decision I take is somehow linked with the knowing of the limited lifetime I have. And you will be wrong if you think that this could be an internal stress. Oh, it's the opposite. It makes you aware that every day is special. Let's not take it for granted, because it isn't. Every day is special. Now, there is nothing wrong with the digital world, but again, we need to know how we can use it to our advantage. And from my point of view, how much time are we okay to spend with it? How much time? And I truly believe that this isn't something we can ignore. And we have to know how we want to use it. It really is the time to know. Now, you know me. I don't want to be the one moralizing. I don't want to moralize about that, but it just hurts my heart sometimes if I make the calculation. And the calculation, I don't have to do it for you. Like, just say 1 hour a day in there, 2 hours a day in there. How many hours is that per week? How many hours is that per month? Make the calculation. Can hurt. Yeah, it hurts, really. But anyway. And not to forget that we do experience the real life in the analog world. It's exciting out there. It is exciting out there, isn't it? Ha! Life isn't just about seeing things. It's about feeling it. It's about touching it. It's about experiencing it with all the senses. That's life. And that happens only in the analog world. Life is orgasmic. And with those words, let's stop it here. Take care and live a little. It's our one chance. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Not yet. By the way, I have some good news about the podcast. I'm flying to Russia tomorrow, and I will be there for over a week. But when I'm back, from then on, I will go back to 1 episode a week. Yes, because I miss doing it, really. I really miss doing it. And I have some great topics for you guys in here. And I will tell you stories. I will give you ideas and tips to fully appreciate the time we have and to stay healthy with your soul and your mind and your heart and how to use your time. And feel free to go and check out my new website, www.annajelen.com, ANNAJELEN. My team did an incredible job, and now I have a shop. I am so excited to have a shop. And I sell beautiful, beautiful hourglasses like this one here. That's 30 minutes. I sell time. So funny. I sell time. I love it. If you want to have one of those and a postcard written by me, go and have a look. Okay, so take care. Bye. 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 Bye.